Hey guys, I'm BuilderBots. Welcome to another Bots Games. We are on our 5th episode of Builderville, and if you remember last episode, we built this beautiful dog and cat ice skating. Now today we're going to do something really simple that we'll use, this technique that we used in his arm basically entirely. So over here, we're going to build the Loch Ness Monster. That's right, Nessie. And we will be right back after this short break. We're back! Now, I know what you're thinking. The Loch Ness Monster does not look like this. Hear me out, alright? They didn't have any Loch Ness Monsters. Player skins, so we're just something that has a big mouth apparently. Oops, wrong button. There we go. So this is the closest I could find to a Loch Ness Monster. I'm sorry, alright? Tried. It took me like 2 minutes. Anyway, so let's go get some green. What color? We'll do concrete. I like concrete. So remember with the arm, I always talk about this. We use this, and then if we wanted to, we would just move it like this and keep building the same shape, but just move it a little bit every time, and it would make kind of an interesting line as opposed to just doing something like this. It just makes it look better, you know. So basically, for the Loch Ness Monster, what we're gonna do, I'm gonna try and make him go over, or her. If it's Nessie, it's her, right? I don't know. I'm gonna try and make her go over the bridge, and it's gonna be like she's swimming through the dirt, I guess, because there's really nothing else I can do. I mean, I'm not just gonna fill this whole thing with water. I don't think that would look very good, so we're just gonna do this. But basically, instead of doing this, which is what we did for the sheep, we're gonna make it a little bit bigger. And we're gonna go like this. And we're gonna move that shape around. It's gonna be a little bit larger, because, you know, the Loch Ness Monster is a little bit larger. So it's gonna have 3 parts. It's gonna have a tail that's gonna be up there, and it's gonna stick out of the water. And then at the middle of its body, it's gonna come up out of the dirt. I guess it's gonna go up out of the bridge back into the dirt, and then its head is gonna come up and be like right there. But we're gonna build the body first, and so it's pretty simple. What we're gonna do is basically just start moving this around like that, and it's just gonna make a nice pattern. It's gonna be very simple. And it's if you guys want to build it, it's just a very easy design, and it looks good when it's finished. So I'm gonna go do the middle portion, and maybe when I get to the top, like the bridge, I'll come back and because it's a little bit harder when you're going down than when you're going up for some reason. So I will be back shortly. So when you're nearing the top, and by the way, I made it too high down there. I just moved that one over a little bit, the bottom one, because I wanted to make it look a little bit rounded instead of just like bam straight into the water. Make it look like he's arching up out of the water. And to do that, when you get to the top, so that it doesn't look like it's just a V coming in and going out, you're actually gonna, instead of going right there and making the rest of your little circle, you're gonna go over another one like this, because it's going to look more, or rather less sloped, which will be good because you're about to start going down again, because we're right over the path now. And then you might want to do that one more time, like that. And you can see it's starting to look, it has like a different shape right there. It's less steep. And are we directly over the path now? Yeah, we are. So then now, it's more difficult coming down because it just is. So we're gonna do the same thing on that side. So because we're gonna start this there. So we're gonna fill this in, make the rest of this, and start coming down like that. So then this next one is also one that starts, it'll start right there, and then the rest of them will start one, with a difference of one, if that makes any sense. So then this next one and all the ones after it will start right there, and only hang over one, whereas these top ones hang over two, if that makes any sense. And you're just going to keep going down like this. So this is basically the arch. I didn't do a very good job of making it rounded. It looks like a V and then it just goes straight down. So you might, I'm not really sure. It might look better if you go like this or something on one side, possibly. You can just experiment with it, see what looks good. Like for example, that doesn't, but that might. I really don't know. And for now, I'm just gonna leave it like this though, it was before. And we're gonna go back and do the tail. So the tail, it's not gonna be arched as much. It's gonna be like basically straight up with a little bit of curve in it. So most of them will be right on top of each other. I'm gonna do one out right now, and then another one on top of that. So it's gonna be much steeper than that. And getting it to go up into a point is difficult because it's I guess it's an even number of sides. There's no actual middle. Like the middle is 2 blocks instead of 1. Or if you had an odd number of odd width, I guess, then you could go up into 1. It just it's difficult to make it look natural. So I'm just gonna try some stuff. Maybe something like that, like a pinwheel type shape. You can't really see it because it's all green, but basically I just took one from each side. Yeah, you can see it like that. And it makes it get smaller without making it look like it's getting smaller too fast. Like that sort of thing. I think for right now that's fine. And then when we're gonna go over here, the same thing. It's not quite so rounded, it's basically straight up the head. Make sure it's aligned. I think that's right. I think that's in the middle. Hello. Hello, sir. Where are you going? Okay. So I'm gonna stack 2 of these layers again. And then go forward 1. You can see it's really quick when we're almost done. I'm actually, I don't know if I should move the head a little bit closer. Not sure. I think I will move it just a little bit closer. Maybe like I'll start it right there. So now it's a little bit difficult to do the head. I'm actually gonna get some black concrete out to do his horns, and there's a different technique that we learned kind of over in the pigeon. Oh my god, not a pigeon, parrot. Although when I was editing it, I realized that I demonstrated it kind of wrong. So I'll do it right this time, I promise. So for the head, I think that's about how high I want it. I don't want it to go that much higher than the body or the tail. So I'm just gonna start doing his snout. I mean her snout. Give it a little bit of roundness here. I think that might be a little bit too long there. And I'm going to start the horns about right there on each side. Let's try my favorite eyes. Like this. Then we can go like this. Give it a little bit more depth so it doesn't look like it's at the same level as the eye, because it should be set inwards a little bit. Could try doing this snout. I don't know how it'll look. We can come back to that. So I want to do this now. So basically, when we were doing the parrot, the stick of the parrot, I did the same technique, but when I demonstrated it, I didn't do it right. So you start off with this, and then you just do the same thing. It's not like that. And you just continue up like that. I don't know what I was doing over there, but that's not what I did, so sorry about that. We're gonna do that for the horns here. So we're gonna go up like this. And if you want to change direction a little bit or make it kind of curved, instead of going like how you would normally do it, which is be like this and then delete the front one, you would go like, you would just make the square over here and then delete that one anyways, which would make it give it a little bit of curve like this. That's what I'm trying to do here. And then I'm gonna have it come in a little bit. So the horns might be a little too big, I'm not sure. Let's see if they look weird. Kind of. We can add little horns on like down his back and stuff too. Kind of. And maybe something on the end of his tail. don't know. And down his head. So like that. We can remove this now. Like so. And also what you can do with this, one time I made this really cool thing. I don't think I have a picture of it anymore. I might actually. If I do, I'll put one up, but I don't know, I'll have to look. I did this same design, except I raised it out a little bit and made it slightly less wavy. And then I put like wings and legs on it and made it into this really cool dragon actually. So, basically once you have this form, you can do a lot of things with it. And, it is very helpful, this way of building. You can use it like I used it in his arm. I think I used it in the Spinosaurus somewhere and in the stick there, and you can use it in all sorts of stuff. So it's really handy how to know. And yes, basically. I was just looking at this from back here, and I noticed that the tip of his tail needs to be a little bit thicker because it looks a lot thinner than the rest. I mean, the middle of his back needs to be a little bit thicker because it was too thin. So that fixed that. One more thing, I'm gonna make his horns a little bit smaller. I think they're too big, so I'm gonna make them, I like how they curve, so I'm gonna take out, because these two are both going diagonally, and then everything else is working for the curve, so I'm gonna take working for the curve, that's a weird way of saying it, so I'm gonna take the two that are just going diagonally out, or one of them out, and then the rest of them are all doing something different, so. It's finished, I think. I'm happy with the way the nose turned out. It's probably the hardest part to do and make it look normal. But this is basically a really short, kind of almost tutorial on how to use these that building type in a whole build. So, I hope this was useful. Hopefully you can apply this to your builds, whether it's building a Nessie or building something of your choice. But, I do definitely use it a lot. I think I've used it in most of my builds. I don't think I've used it in this. But, I think I've used it at least a little bit in every other build. Yeah, because I used it in his neck, remember? Also, remember, while I'm getting this sign out, let me get my inventory out too, that if you want to be featured in the next video, all you have to do is subscribe and comment a build idea, and if I think it's a creative and fun thing to build, then I'll give you a shout out. I'll put your name on the sign next to the build, and I will build what you commented. So it's a great way to get in the video if you would like to. I think today's, it's the, I don't even know what day it is. It's the 22nd. So I spelled it wrong for a second. So it's a great way if you want to be in the video, and it's also, it's nice because just get some other I lost my train of thought, okay? Get some interesting builds that were not I I don't know what to say. Anyway, if you did enjoy, please leave a like and have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.